testing 1 2 3. Hopefully that's working now. Let me just put it into audio working on both screens. That's good. Thank you for letting me know. Right, so let's start again. We've got news starting today. As soon as the market opens, keep an eye on 9:45 PMI and 10 AM PMI. It's a big volatile news event, so that could move the market. So I personally won't trade until after these two news events are completed. Good. I'm glad this sound's working. Sorry about that. Occasionally my microphone decides it doesn't want to pick up and I just have to add it and re-add it back in again, and that's just what I've done. Thanks for letting me know. Hopefully you've had a good week. I was just saying as I opened up, it's I've not traded for since Wednesday last week. I've been away, I've been travelling, I was in Sweden skiing, but a bit tired. I didn't get back to very late last night, so I may not even trade today, but I've got some good levels lined up. I had quickly, I cleared all the drawings off my chart and I just dropped down and found some good levels where we can watch. Two main areas I'm watching today. On the ES, which is the S&P 500 E-mini futures, I'm watching yesterday's high and yesterday's low. So these two areas of supply and demand. I've not really been looking at the market. I was here last Wednesday around here and we were just chopping around a little bit, and then we just had some couple of big moving days, which is good. Great. I'm going to go back up to the daily because there's a few levels, few key levels on watch we've been watching. This area confluence just along here, big volume shelf as well, and we can see, in fact, the point of control runs straight through that area. Big area of confluence was watching, and we can see we broke down, came back up, retested. I love these break and retest, and then broke down. And then we've got this other area on watch as well, bottoms of these periods. Let's use this rectangle instead. This region here is another area to watch. Also note the volume shelf, pretty much on par with the one above, and you can see we broke down, we bounced, broke through it, came back up into that area and retested it. So I'm quite keen to watch for a potential rejection around this 58.50 area. We'll go back into the hourly in a minute to continue the downtrend we're now currently in. We can say a confirmed downtrend as we've broken previous pivots, and we're putting in a series of lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. So looking good, and look at this as well, increase in volume, decrease in price. So that means we've got a strong downtrend. If it's the other way around, if price was decreasing and volume was declining, then I'll be a little bit more worried. If you've tuned into these videos over the last month, we've been talking about the decline in volume. I mentioned it quite a few times. We've got declining volume as we're coming into all-time highs area, declining volume again into all-time highs, and these are the first warning signs, and look what's happened next. So good to see volume price analysis is working as expected. So let's go down to the hourly and let's just look at the levels I've got on watch. I'm only watching two areas today really. I'm watching yesterday's high, this region here, and I'm watching yesterday's low. So these two areas of supply and demand. If we come back down, if we come into this region, hold it, come back out, I'm looking for it to come back out, pull back into that region to confirm a bounce. And the same if we get into this yesterday's high area. You know what, I love break and retest, especially pre-market high, but it's really hard to go long into this area of overhead supply, especially when we're in a downtrend and we are below the 50 moving average and below the 200 moving average. So we've lost institutional support when we're below there. It's going to be hard trying to find a pre-market high break and retest long, but watch it for a scalp instead of a looking for 1, 2. I normally look for 3R and 5R on my trades, so if I do take it, it'll be a scalp. We're pretty much at pre-market low now. Let's see what the news does at 9:45 and 10 AM before we get into any trades. Like this area, if we get into this yesterday's high area, we'll see it come back out, come back in, and then put in another move down. And I think that's it. Area of confidence as well in that area, you can see that quite clearly there. Low, couple of lows, low of the days, and yesterday's high as well. So I do quite like this area. 58.60 to 58.80 for the rejection, and I do like this area 57.40 to 57.60 for the bounce. Obviously, if we lose that area, and then we can look for the break and retest. I'll be watching the break and retest of pre-market low as well. We've got a little bit more room below. Do you know what? It's going to be a tough, we're right by that bounce area as well, but it's with the trend, so the low you could probably may have more higher probability than the break and retest long against the trend and into overhead supply. Let's just drop down to the 15 for a second. So these are my areas I've got marked up. I'll use the hourly. The hourly gives me an area where I'm looking, and the 15 minutes where I fine tune it. And you can see I fine tuned it on when we see a move in one direction and see a big move in the opposite direction, and it's got to be during market hours as well. Then I will mark out that candle as my area of supply. Same here. We had a move down, big reaction. You can see big bottom tail candle, and then we came back down. Another bottom tail candle. So there's a bit of a telltale sign there. We might have some demand. So I've marked out that area, basically this area here, as an area where potentially we come back down. Well, you can see actually we did come back down at the end of yesterday, and then look out for a bounce. So had I been here yesterday, I probably would have been keeping an eye on that area for a bounce, and we come in and poke straight into it. So today, if we get down into that area, I'll be watching for a bounce. I want to see it come in. Maybe not put in a new low. I don't really want to see it take out yesterday's low, but I will consider it, because obviously market manipulations will take out any stops, especially if we have a big bottom tail, come back in and then to change direction. Look at this for a wild day as well yesterday. So yesterday took out pre-market low, came back in, took out pre-market high, come back down to the lows again. You know, it's difficult to trade, just no direction. It's a very hard day. So let's move on to SPY next. Oh, there is a little bit of cumulative delta divergence going on the order flow. So let's just flick over to the order flow. So this one here, this is pre-market volume. So, but you can see quite clearly we've got a downward price trend, and we've got an upward, could say like that, an upward cumulative delta. So we've got more aggressive buying, and the sellers are just absorbing all those buyers right now. And then obviously the buyers ran out by the looks of it, couldn't put in a new high, and then the selling came in, and we've got continued selling on the price as well. What does that mean? You can see here buyers are having another go now. You can see aggressive buying coming in, prices finding it hard to put the follow through. So maybe we've got quite a few big sellers sitting up here absorbing all this buying pressure. But at some point, somebody's going to give in. Either sellers are going to sell all their stock, and then the buyers take over, or the sellers are going to be stronger than the buyers, and then suddenly there's not anyone left to buy, and it just continues back down. But it is pre-market volume, and I generally don't pay too much attention to it, but this is what I'm looking for if I'm looking for a reversal. And going back to the ES chart, I can't see any signs of a reversal where we are right now. So, you know, if it's down here in this region, I'll probably be paying more attention to the pre-market chart. So let's just flick on to SPY next. SPY, pretty much the same. Let's go to the hourly. So I've just started to remove all the old drawings from the last few weeks. So we've got this bounce zone down here, 572 to 574. And we can also keep an eye on yesterday's high, 585.40 down to around 582. I've not marked up the zone on the 15 minute, but this zone here we can keep an eye on, and it's below the 50 moving average. and that's it. Pre-market high into that overhead, supply is going to be hard. Pre-market low, break and retest into that area of demand below will be I think a higher probability trade, and there's a bigger gap, so we could be able to run that down a little bit. We're getting some aggressive buying coming in right now. Let's go back to that. And look at this, the price is now moving, having follow through with the buying. And look at this, all this buying the last few minutes, back up to still in negative values, I think. Was that -3? They were positive values. I meant positive delta. Again, pre-market volume, so just I would not pay too much attention on that at the moment. See if there's anything happen elsewhere. No, it's not much really moving. It's just pre-market movement. Okay, so SPY. Let's just mark up the zone in SPY as well. So it's going to be this region here. I will go down into the 15-minute and just fine tune that, but that's the region I'm watching. SPX. I've not looked at this, nor have I made any changes to any levels since the beginning of last week, over a week ago. But it is good to see the levels I've had marked up are holding. Look at that. These levels here, that in particular there, yesterday's high. This region here, like I said, even though it's a line, I see it more as zones rather than lines, but that's pretty much spot on. I've held that level, that's been there for some time. This level here, maybe we can make a final adjustment. Any new levels to add? No, not really. Maybe we can fine tune that to about there. Right on the volume, there's a volume spike. There's no volume down here, lack of volume, so all I'm seeing here on SPX is a series of, is a downtrend. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So that's all I can see is a downtrend. Volume is a little bit more increased volume, not a great deal, but not really anything significant. But the levels are still good. Look at this for rejection. Yesterday's high came up into that region. Previous day's high came up into that region. We're holding that area. Look, came in, it bounced in that area, broke down, got close to retesting. So it's a great guideline to have. I just got a text message when I flew in from Sweden yesterday. I lost my luggage. Can you believe? So all of my skiing equipment, all of my clothes. I just got a text saying they're delivering it to me today, apparently. So they found it, which is good. Excellent. Hopefully it's all intact. NQ next. RC, please can you cover DAX as well? Okay, I can do that. I'll quickly run through these and I'll dig out DAX as well. Downtrend on NQ, you can clearly see that on the hourly. Got some levels to keep an eye on. Yesterday's low, this area here for the bounce. You could say that's an inverse head and shoulders pattern playing out right now. Volume is muted volume down, there's not much volume. If we get back up into this, I could see 20,000 was a decent area. It's a psychological number. Didn't quite get there yesterday, but that's an area to watch for a potential bounce, or maybe we can watch it poke through, come back out, and put in that trend we were watching for in ES. Did we have any significant numbers in ES? Not really. Where's 6,000? Oh, 6,000's up here, so you can mark that area up as well, 6,000. You can see that. Look at that for a big rejection yesterday. So let's just give that an area mark. It's nice to have it sitting there. You can see we held it, broke through, held it again, came back, held it, and we haven't got back over that 6,000. And NQ 20,000 is another significant area, big round psychological number. We've got 21,000, where's that? Oh, we've already got that marked up, 21, and we've got 22, so that's away from there. So keep an eye on 21,000. You can see yesterday or a couple of days ago we came through, came back up, retested it, tried to get through it, lost it totally. Look at that for a big rejection at 21,000, and we've yet to get back up there. And then 20,000, we got close, but not quite there. But let's keep an eye on this area for a bounce. Volume wise, notice the lack of volume down there. There's no volume shelves. So if we do see a break and retest of pre-market high, yesterday high into the zone, whereas we don't have any significant volume until we get up into this region, this 21,400. So this is a good area to watch as well. Area of confidence, there's a few pivots down there as well. It's a bit of an area of confidence, so we'll keep an eye on this area for rejection, and let's just see what we can. So yesterday's, we can keep an eye on this region. How? Let's go down to the 15, see whether I can find a better zone. Yeah, there I can see a perfect rejection zone. Look at this. So this is an area to watch for rejection today, and that is a bit like ES, pre-market high, hard to go long into this overhead supply, so probably won't take a long. But if we get into this yesterday's high, down into this pre-market high, this area here, it'd be great to see the market push up into that area without any follow through, come back out, come back in and retest it, and almost put in a head and shoulders pattern. I do like to see it come in, not quite get there, put in a few top in tails, and then break through, take out all of those stops into that region of supply, retest it and come back out again. So I'm keeping an eye on this 2700 area for potential rejection, and I really only want to take it with confirmation. Like, this is a hard one to take. You've gone in and there was the big rejection. There was no real confirmation there. Maybe if you go down to the 5 you might find something. You could say came back out, retested that area, didn't quite get there to retest, and you could have watched that for the rejection. I trade off the 5 and 15 mainly. So had we been watching it yesterday, no chance. Taking out the high, big rejection candle, maybe you could have found an entry there. No, difficult. Here though, if we were watching this zone today and I see someone like this having come back in, come back out, try to come out of the zone, couldn't put in a new low, this is exactly what I'm looking for. Push back out, then it came back and retested that area, entry is there, stop is down here, and that's an easy, VWAP, you can get 2R, that's a 2R move. It went on, until the end of the day. So you could have trailed the pivots, trailed the pivots, trailed the pivots, trailed the pivots all the way up, and then you would eventually, maybe you might have just trailed that pullback there. You could have got out there or down there, and that would have been your risk, and this could have been the reward. What's that? That could have been. So these are the type of moves I'm looking for, basically. Even if you're conservative and use the low of the day. So that's your easy 2R, 3R. Where did it go in the end? It went 9, 10R almost, that trade. And if you trailed out, say that pivot there, you could have got 6R out of it. So that's why I do quite like this move here. Into the zone. I know we didn't know about this zone yesterday, but that's what I'll be looking for today. A retest and then a breakout. And you've got loads of time, even if you miss it. Look how it broke out of that zone, came back in and retested that area. So you could have just put a small trade, a small risk trade in there. Your stop could have been just in that zone, and you could have got 2R easily. QQQ. We look at DAX as well. QQQ, same levels. Let's watch for the bounce down in this region, rejection up in this region. That's it really. I prefer the break. We test a pre-market low than a pre-market high, because pre-market high is into that area of overhead supply. Oil. Let's go back to the hourly. It's definitely in a downtrend. And we lost that. Look at that for the break. We held that level, came back, retested it, and then we lost it. Next level's below. Let's just clean this drawing now. It's getting messy. That's better. keep an eye on this area for the bounce. Maybe this area as well. I'm just looking for the most touches of pivots. Looking for volume to the left as well. Yeah, I don't really like any longs. Gold. Let's clear this. I'm just trying to clear all the drawings because it's looking a bit messy now. I do like leaving the levels in, but sometimes you just have to have it tidy up. Got our rejection area up here, so keep an eye on this area for the rejection. We couldn't quite, just about put in a new high. We holding that level 29.67. I was expecting it to get to about 3,000. Hasn't got there yet. Might still do that. We're just going through this sideways zone, either reaccumulating or we're starting to set up for a change of direction. We've broken that uptrend there. Come back in, and we're going to retest it and put in a new higher low. Let's clear that. So levels. You know, you could say we're looking at a couple of things here. We could be looking at, there's a few inverse head and shoulders here. Got a little one there. Got a big one here, potentially. You could even say we've got one in the other direction over here. But we want to see it break out over pre-market high. If we can get out over that level, watch it for the break and retest into new all-time, into the all-time highs area. If we lose pre-market low, let's watch it break down into that, and we've got a bounce down here. RTY, I'm aware that the market opens in about 3-4 minutes. RTY, is this an inverse head and shoulders? Let's see what happens when we get to pre-market high. Watch for the break and retest of pre-market high. Otherwise, trend continuation is more higher probability. Pre-market low, watch for the bounce down at 20.50. And then rejection in this zone. It's a zone we've marked up for a long time, and we're still holding that zone right now. I'm not going to make too much changes to that. What's that coming to there? Look at that for that pivot. So let's keep an eye on the rejection up in this yesterday's high area. YM. So I'm aware the market opens shortly, so I'm going to be as quick as I can. Nothing until we get to down there. We're holding that pivot. So we're right in a bounce place. So again, watching for the bounce. Yesterday's low, pre-market low, this region here. Oh, it's going to be hard to find a long break and retest a pre-market high. I do quite like that, into yesterday's high. And then we got all of this region here as a rejection. Look at the volume above, volume spike, so may just go back up into that zone before we see it come back out, back down again. We're still below the 250 moving average, so it'll be hard to get longs. Bitcoin, missed my opportunity when I was away in Sweden to buy some more down here. I was waiting for it to get to this area, wasn't far off. I have been topping up though. Added when we came back down to about 82, I think, last week. Holding that trend line. If we can break out over that pivot there, watch for longs. Inverse, oh no, it's not an inverse head and shoulders pattern because it's broken. I'm not sure. It's not really much at the moment. We want to see it break these pivots, so for long or shorts. Even when the market opens, but remember we've got data coming out shortly, so I won't get too excited about trading until after DAX futures. Is that the German 40, isn't it? Is it this one here? Okay, I've not looked at this for a while, so let's go back to the daily. Let's clear the drawings. Oh wow, this is looking good. I like this chart. So we've got this level, this trend here. Got a steep trend here. Look at the volume. Increase in volume. Let's just come into the daily a little bit. So things that stand out on this chart: big volume spike there, RSI down at the low, we sold off, which you kind of expect, and then you can see bottom tail, RSI was oversold as well, and then that's when we started this uptrend. And we've not really had much significant volume here. A bit of volume came in with no follow through on the downside, notice that. And now look at the significant volume coming in again now, and we're overbought. So the opposite to what we see down here. Any signs of weakness? Increase in price, yeah, this is what you kind of expect. Low volume here. Big moves, big volume. Whenever I see a bottom tail candle at the end of a big move up, that's, to me, it's a first sign of weakness. We've got this topping tail candle, bottom tail candle, because when you think about it, at some point, we opened there, at some point that was one big red candle. I know it's pointing in yellow, and so the bottom tail candle is showing me, it's telling me now that it was a big red candle. We had some buyers came in, but barely got any follow through. I wouldn't like to go long right now. The other reason is we're so far away from the 50 moving average, and we're so far away from the 200 moving average. When was the last time? And end of last year. Last time we were close to the 50. We drew a bit of a pullback, but we are holding this uptrend. Let's draw this level in. Not very good there. Let's use this instead. This level here just gives a general idea. Something like that. Another level I do like to draw two, because you can see there's. Let's draw another line in. There, that general area there. So you can see it was in this uptrend, and then it was a rapid increase. Volume came in there. Okay, so right now, I personally wouldn't go long. I'd only go long if we come all the way back down into this region. If you look for long term, we look for levels for today. Let's mark up some supply and demand zones in the 15. And what I'm looking for is a big move in the opposite direction. So it's not really a big move, so you could potentially watch this region for a rejection. Not the biggest fan of it, because I was really looking for, I'd like to see the green candle come up to there, but at one point that was all green. So 23, 120, 2160 for the rejection. We can see, had I looked at this, what's this? This is pre-market volume. We've been in this zone, we've not got any follow through. So maybe if it comes back up, retest that area, we can watch that area. For the bounce, let's just change this. I just want to see regular hours. Doesn't let me change it on here. Doesn't matter. Basically, when I say regular hours, I'm just looking where the volume is. That's where I draw my supply and demand zones. This region here, it's a bounce. So we had a big swing down, kind of a biggish move up, another swing down, and then we had this big move. So last time we came down there, we had this big reaction to it, and that's what I'm looking for: big reactions to moves. So we know there's probably buyers sitting down here waiting. Pre-market high. If we can get out of that zone, break and retest. Keep an eye on that. One thing I didn't check, is this all-time highs? Yeah, all-time highs as well, so I don't short all-time highs, so I find that really difficult. Back to the hourly again. I think they're basically the only zones I'll be watching. and then break and retest of pre-market low. I don't know how it works. I don't really watch it enough, but if it break and retest pre-market low into that area, look at the volume though. We've got all this volume down there. We've got a little bit of volume coming in here as well, pre-market low area. So you may see a bounce, and not much volume up here. That's why I don't like shorting all-time highs. But we do have this area of supply here, and that was set up during market hours at 3 AM. Okay, that is European market time zone, I guess. Basically, I only draw my supply zones where I see volume. Pre-market or post-market, I try to avoid. And I think that's it. They're the two areas to watch. Yesterday's low and pre-market high, or pre-market high compared for the US market. I'll spend more time if you want. Remind me tomorrow as well, and I can go through levels and just see what happens. I like to study stocks before I trade them. I'll probably be marking up charts for 2, 3, 4 months first, just so I can get a feel for its personality and how it trades. And I don't really know much about the DAX. I've got it on my list because I'm looking to trade more UK hours and less US hours if I can. It'd be nice to be able to have my day over and done by 9 AM GMT instead of 9 AM Eastern time. But I'll keep an eye on DAX, and maybe I can go through this as well, look at the UK as well. But that's the only zones I can really see. I do quite like this area here because we've got that big reaction and then the rejection down. So that's my primary area for 23,100, 23,200 as a rejection. And I do quite like this 22,312 for the bounce, 22,300. And look, we had a big reaction. Second time we came down, big reaction to that as well. Came down, big reaction. But obviously a third time you may not get as big reaction, but you could start to see something like this form. And then we may have that trend line we've already drawn in. This could be another trend line, and then we're either going to break out, put in a new push to the upside, or break down. So that's generally what I look for. Okay, I think that's it. Market's open, been open for 7 minutes. Let's just go back to ES. You're welcome, by the way. Thank you. We were watching pre-market low for a break and retest into the zone. Again, you have to treat it more as a scalp. Let's see how much room we've got. Horrible price action this morning. And remember, it's not a bad idea just to not trade. News coming out in 7 minutes, and then another one's coming out at 10 AM. So just be wary of that. And the market might not do anything until we get those 2 news drops. You could watch for the break and retest into the zone. We're quite far away from the pre-market high area. I can't see anything. I wouldn't even trade right now. One thing interesting, let's flick over to the order flow. This is interesting. So I'm looking at cumulative delta divergence. So we've got decrease in price, and we were having an increase in cumulative delta, and it's still increasing. It's putting a new high. Look at that. So we've got lots of aggressive buying. I mean, loads of aggressive buying. This big area here, especially after the market opened. But look at this, no price follow through. It's just holding that area. I see this as like winding up a spring. You keep winding, and something's going to crack, maybe to the upside or to the downside. But you don't usually get all this aggressive buying with no movement in the market. So to me, we've got some big sellers absorbing all of that price there. But once the sellers are done, then maybe that's when the price is going to start moving up. Or if the sellers stay strong, then we run out of all this aggressive buying, and then the price just starts coming back down again. So that's the 2 scenarios you watch for. And then cumulative delta, and then order flow wise, what I look for is large orders. See here, you can see those red lines flashing up. That is large orders going on and off the book. So there's no large orders at the moment, so nothing of significance. We've got them here. If you see an asterisk next to it like that one there, that means there's more than 400 orders on ES. So 57.42. 57. Oh, that's way down here. That's not even on the chart at the moment. So going back to cumulative delta, look at that, we've got more aggressive buying and now the price is starting to follow through. Taking out previous pivot. That's what you expect to see. Lots of accumulation, 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 then breaking out. And out of all of these, the big large orders on this 30-minute chart, that's what I look at the most. I like to see where there's orders sitting. And the reason I've got 30-minute filtered order flow candles is because it's a bit like bookmap. I can see where previous large orders were. So these are the point of controls in each 30-minute candle, the yellow lines. So what I'm looking for is aligned point of controls, like those two. Look at that, 1, 2, 3 candles there, all next to each other. 4 if you include that one, 5. So this area, 58.25, previously had large orders in that area. So, and you can see now, look at these. So we've got these large orders on the book as well. So that coincides with these points of controls here. So you probably think we might come up to it and may reject it. You could use it for that reason, or you could see there's limit orders being put in place waiting to push out. Just looking, there's not much down here, so that's at 58. It may not be significant, and it's only pre-market volume, so I try not to watch pre-market volume too much, but it's good to see the point of controls there aligning with actual orders on the order book there. So keep an eye on this region, see what happens. It'd be interesting to see what happens when it gets up to that 58.25 area. Right, I'm gonna not trade until after 10 AM Eastern time, so I'm gonna close this live stream and I'll be on the order flow stream, which I'll put a link here into the comments. I don't have sound on that. Let me just get the link. I've also created a Discord as well, which I'll share that as well. Where's my Discord? And then I'm going to start doing some more live streams in there and put some more educational content in there as well. I'll put the link, here we go, so just loading. I've just had to reboot my machines. I've had order flow running for a week and I've just realised I've not rebooted it today. Invite. So it's very new. I literally only created it last week, so it's a bit empty, but I'm going to start adding to it. I was away, so because I've been away for a week, I've not really added much to it, but it's got the links to all the videos, and also maybe start putting my levels in there as well, stuff I'm watching. So I'll do the YouTube and I'll do the put the levels in as well. Okay, so I'm going to concentrate on my trading now. I will be around on either the Discord or in the order flows channel, and I will be back tomorrow around at exactly 2 PM here in England, which is 9 AM Eastern time. And I appreciate you watching, and trade safe today.